Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Right. I'm Egberto, Willies, your host. Thank you so kind for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today, and I'm looking for it as we speak because you know what? As usual, you know what happened, guys? There is so much to do. I just got off of a call with one of our board of directors on the Pacifica National Board, so I am a bit late in getting all the pieces put together, and I'm doing it as we speak right now to just make sure that I give you a real program. But anyway, how's everybody doing? I trust everybody is doing just fine. Lizard Queen is in the house from Houston, Texas. You like how did you did is my drawl good enough, guys? You know, I'm from Panama, so I have to learn how to do the drawl the Panamanian way. You know what I mean? But I still consider myself an honorary Texan. One more thing to put in here about JD Vance, and then we'll be ready to go. I need to put a little something in here for JD Vance, and then I'll be ready to bring up the program for JD Vance. So JD Vance is a character, isn't he? He is a character. I mean, he's going to make winning this election even easier because, I mean, I can't believe that we're going to have any woman who says, I want to make sure that I'm just a baby making machine. I am a baby making machine. Hey, I see E2247 is on today on YouTube, not on Twitch, which he normally comes to us via Twitch. What's going on? Is Twitch not working or something, brothers and sisters? Anyway, let me salute everybody. E2247 is in the house. Welcome aboard. Bridge MCP from Binghamton, New York is in the house. Eric Hayes from Kingwood, Atascocita is in the house. Bruce Pollard is in the house. I think Bruce is going to call us in a little bit to discuss a little something about the Olympics. I trust that he'll call when we get over our intro and a few house fixing by brother Bruce. We also have Lizard Queen in the house. I think I saw you this morning, Lizard. Maybe I did. I think I did. Remember, sometimes everything kind of, I work so many hours, things kind of blend into each other. Lee Grant from Montgomery County is in the house. How you doing, brother Lee? And what else have we got here? Yvette Avery Herod, numero uno in the chat. Nope, AVQ beat you out this time. AVQ, El Señor Michael Rutnin is in the house. How are my peeps doing? Preciosa Yvette and AVQ. Let's get started. Bridge MCP starts and she says, Donald Trump gets no black votes versus Kamala Harris in Michigan poll. The WDIV Detroit News poll found that the presidential race is a dead heat between Trump, Republican nominee, and Vice Presidential Kamala Harris, the presumptive Democratic nominee, with each receiving 41% of the vote. Among the black voters surveyed, 82.1% supported Harris, 11.5% independent candidate Robert F. Jr., and none supported Trump. You know, they were trying to create this mystique. Oh, Donald Trump is getting the black vote. Oh, Donald Trump is getting the Latino vote. Well, brother, I'm black and Latino. And I speak to a lot of black people and Latinos. I don't know any Trump voter. It is anathema to our existence. How can you care? How can you support somebody who doesn't want your existence? How can you? So for the few black folk that they paraded on the Democratic convention, the Republican convention, I found a meme that described those people. We always had them. Even during slavery, we had them, you know. In fact, that's why, slavery took so long to eradicate, but it's okay. Bridge MCP says Vice President Kamala Harris said Thursday that she has serious concerns about the scale of the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. We cannot look away in the face of those tragedies. We cannot allow ourselves to become numb to the suffering and will not be silent, she said. The vice president, the likely Democratic presidential nominee following President Joe Biden's exit from the race over the weekend, made the remarks immediately following what she said was a frank meeting with Israeli President, or rather Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the war criminal. Harris, whose husband is Jewish, told reporters she pressed the foreign leader to close on the terms of the ceasefire deal that Biden laid out in May. So, to everyone who has been calling for a ceasefire and to everyone who yearns for peace, she said, I see you and I hear you. Let's get the deal done. Acknowledging that while Israel has the right to defend itself, Harris said, let us all do what we can to prevent the suffering of innocent civilians. Thank you. That's what a president sounds like. All right, we have Eric Hayes says Ford Motor Company, which reported a drop in second quarter earnings due electric vehicle losses and persistently high warranty costs, led the declines. Its share have fallen 20% this week, but others such as General Motors, Tesla, Stellantis, and Nissan all see their shares drop about 8% or even more. Yeah, shares go up and shares go down. Our Eric Hayes also said selected, not elected, is democratic democracy. Out by force and you will like it. Again, I can't help that you choose not to educate yourself or that you choose to be less than intelligent on the issue. I can't help you there, Eric. You choose to be dumb on this issue. That's your choice. I said you choose to be that way. I know you have a better mind than that. Okay? I know you do. All right. Let's see. Eric Hayes says Dems wrap up smear. I'm not going to bother with that. What else have we got? Cory Bush, Missouri 1, sits on the Judiciary Oversight and Accountability Urgent Need all our help for the August 6th Democratic primary battleground race. In Missouri? Needing all. That's interesting. Oh, I think she's talking about the primary. Yeah. Because they paid a black guy to run against her. That's nothing but somebody who works for APAC. Yeah, exactly. I see it. She can still win that one, though. She can pull it out. Eric Hayes says, careful what you ask for. 50 cents was given his $500,000 a year, 40,000 a month as child support, and was told it wasn't enough. So he went to family court and applied for child support. Like he took himself to court, and the court said he should only give his ex $6,700 a month. I got it. I don't have a problem with that. I don't know why you thought you needed to put that in the chat, though, Eric. What was the purpose of that again? I know what it was. You won't admit it, but I know why you did it. All right, Lizard Queen says, yes, I listened this morning. I thought I called you out this morning, Lizard. All right, Michael Radin says, does Eric understand how a VP is selected, not elected? It's the same for party leadership positions, such as Speaker of the House and Senate Majority and Minority Whip. 81 million people voted for Biden-Harris. As Biden has chosen not to continue, Harris takes the mantle. There have been no Democratic challengers to Kamala Harris. We don't need to hear from Republicans about anti-democratic measures the party. Again, we don't need to go back there. Eric made the concerted effort to be willfully ignorant there. He did. Because it doesn't matter how you explain it. He chooses to be willfully ignorant. I can't help that. That's mental. That's a mental issue. We love him, but it's a mental issue that he cannot logically go through the sequence. Shakula Hairstylist is in the house. How you doing, Shakula? Great to see you. All right, Michael Rudnin says he has something, I guess, for the screen, which means I put it on the screen. When Michael asks, or Bridge MCP asks, so shall it be. It says, now you know why voting for Republicans will condemn your daughter to fight in the same battles your grandmother won. And that's not a statement. That's not a squeezy statement. That's a statement of fact. All right. Replying to Eric Hayes, Maywood, AOC, and her squad probably do. All right, what else we got here? Scrolling down. Egberto, can we have a day of ignoring MAGA peeps one day? Because you ask. I want to maintain the sanity of my peeps. I will. The sanity of us all. The sanity of us all. Patrick Magner says, the Republicans said Biden was unfit, so we got an upgrade. And now they're upset. This is confusing. I hear you. I know what you mean, Patrick. That's okay. Don't try, Patrick. Don't try. It's okay. It's okay. All right. E2247 says Twitch posts I put up are not getting transferred to YouTube. What's up with that? Every so now and then these filters don't work right. That is. Remember this. We have all these systems aggregated into one, and every different companies control each one of them. So every now and then they don't interoperate. Shakula Hairstylist says, well enough, thanks. I pray for my dog's health every day. I'm old. My dog's old. We are old Democrats. Hey, who you calling old girl? I'm not old. Eric Hayes says, politics done right with Egberto Willies, selected, not elected. Okay, we have our beautiful Stagan Bergen Greek says, I know I'm new, but can't he ban them or mute their comments? They shouldn't be allowed to just freely spread their ignorance and wild theories. I tell you what, my dear beautiful Stygian, send a message to Bridge and she'll tell you what it is that I do. Yes, we could ban anybody if we want to, but let her tell you what we do. Paul Fleming from Powder Spring, Georgia. He says, Machine is trying to get permanent checks for his fossil fuel family and himself. I think you mean Manchin. Sorry, I should have known to ignore the E. All right. Let's see what else we got here. YouTube shows the first 190 characters or so for FB and Twitch, but the redirect isn't 100%. There are bugs in the system. And let's see what else we got here. Bruce says, I'm oldish. No, Bruce, you're a young dude. Come on, man. You're young. Paul says, how do we know that Lina Khan has done an excellent job at the FTC because the billionaires want to get rid of her? I got you. I got you. All right, folks. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's go. Hey, before I get started with what I want to do, I want to hear from my big brother, Bruce. Come on in, Bruce. You had something that you wanted to say about the Olympics that I thought everybody should hear. And likewise, as well, I want to say Patrick Magner says we have 5 Supreme Court justices appointed by 2 presidents who were not elected by the people. And so no one was appointed. Now, this court is doing nothing right. Here we go with brother Bruce Pollard. Let me get Bruce Pollard on the proper speaker system so that we don't get any feedback. And Bruce is now officially on air. Hey, Bruce, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing well. It's Friday. We have our astronomy meeting tonight, and we're going to talk about all sorts of things.
But you know what's the problem, Bruce? You're having an astronomy meeting tonight, but you ain't got no sky to look at tonight. It's all cloudy.
Well, that's why we have our meetings. We have our group meetings where we talk about getting organized and having events where people can come learn about the sky and what we can do better, especially this time of year because there aren't a lot of planets. We're facing the wrong way. There aren't a lot of planets quite yet. Wait a couple more months and there'll be planets in the evening.
Okay, that's how it goes. Hey, but before we talk about France and Paris, I want to say that brother Patrick came up with a very statement that I've mentioned before, but I think it's apropos. He says, we have 5 Supreme Court justices appointed by 2 presidents who were not elected by the people, and one was an appointment. Now, this court is doing nothing for the people. So I wonder why some of the MAGA people are complaining about the delegates electing Kamala Harris, but they're not complaining about the Senate appointing 5 justices from presidents who were not elected by most people. You see the hypocrisy right there, brother Bruce?
Yeah, they're representatives one space removed.
There you go. Anyway, Bruce, I think it's sort of embarrassment what happened in France on day number 1, don't you think?
Well, lots of different things happened. I think the thing that's kind of interesting is that this is almost a metaphor for some of the problems that we see going on. For example, It's clear that big money is driving what happens there, not really the people who want to compete. And the decisions are all made, different. I mean, and they changed where the Tour de France was going to finish up. It always has finished up in Paris, but this time they changed it.
Right.
So last week they made it finish up in Nice. So it's just that everything's driving, and then when you look at all the people who are being hurt, the lower you are on the totem pole, the more you're hurt. They packed up all kinds of people who are homeless, bless them, and they moved them all out of the town, and so they're not getting along quite as well as they had, and so the rich people are. And I guess you don't call it, because it's not just money; it's money and it's power together.
Right.
And that's in fact that's the same thing that we're struggling against here. When you look at Kamala, she's a good choice for us, but the way she was selected, in the end, we didn't make that decision. I think the Democratic Party made that decision. So
let me tell you something interesting enough, Bruce, if I may add to that, right? We are a victim. Look, the Democratic Party wanted to have a free landing space for Biden. In other words, they didn't want, and in fact, that's why Julian Castro is complaining right now. He said, "Hey guys, I wanted to run against Biden. Several other good Democrats wanted to run against Biden, but they were kind of shooed out, and they did all kind of interesting, not illegal things, but they kind of told folks it's best if you don't run this cycle, and not realizing that Biden is getting very old and would react. So that is what was done up front. Now, what could have been done on the back end didn't make. I mean, all the people that wanted an open primary and all of that forgot a few important things. First of all, delegates are there to elect the representative, and they're assigned to whoever voted for them. Well, Biden dropped out and he endorsed Kamala Harris. But the kicker and the most important part about it is, if we had not gone with Kamala, the entire infrastructure for this race would have had to be built from scratch, and all the money that was raised under the Biden Harris ticket could not have gone to anyone else but her. So, I mean, there's a lot of practical things that folks should really know when they're talking about this issue. Yes, the Democratic Party did a bad thing, but the bad thing didn't occur with the election of Kamala. It occurred with them not creating a viable alternative to Biden when Biden was actually running. Don't you think that is more close to it?
Right. Well, so there are people who think that the Democratic Party orchestrated this pretty much this way, so that they could make the transition and again be able to circumvent the primary process.
Oh, wait. Let me see if I understand you correctly.
Times.
Let me see if I understand you right. Are you saying that you think Kamala was always programmed to be the nominee?
Yes.
Let me tell you what's interesting that you say that. There's a meme going on around TikTok right now where it shows a little girl asking Ford, you remember President Ford, what would it take, or when did she think a woman would be elected president? And this is what Ford said. Ford said he think the only way that's going to happen is if a man chooses a woman as his vice president, and after he chooses her as the vice president, either leaves the presidency or something else. And isn't that what's happening right now? What Brother Ford said.
Yeah, it is.
But again, the thing about it that I take exception to, though, I can't say that is true or not true, right? That is like speculation. But and we as progressives, yeah, we can say, hey, I wonder if that happened. But the one thing we don't want to turn it into is what people do with QAnon and those kind of crazy conspiracy type theories, you
Yeah,
know?
and I'm not. I don't. I don't think it matters that much because, as you remember, it happened to you when it was Bernie and Hillary.
Yeah,
That
exactly
was
right.
preordained,
Yes.
and as long as they have super delegates, which are 10% of
Hmm.
the voting group, and then another group, I'm sure there's probably another group that would align themselves as much as possible with the direction of the party. So it would be enough people that at least in the first round would 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 make the first round not work, not go, and so then the second round, then they could get who they wanted.
Yeah.
Um,
Interestingly, now, I think what Patrick says is really apropos. He says, but the people are very excited about her. They do seem to be choosing her, just not traditionally. So, I mean, sometimes, you know, when they say a clock is right twice a day, meaning even if you did things wrong, you happen to luck out on a good result, right? So, look, you will never
yeah.
see
Well,
me.
so
Go ahead.
my 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 good buddy, who you know well, told
Yeah.
me had me try and name the last president that wasn't really driven by the CIA.
Uh huh.
And not that I believe that, but we backtracked to Kennedy, and then I said, well, Kennedy on his way in, he was stuck because the CIA had decided they were going to invade Cuba with the Bay of Pigs, and that Bay of Pigs thing. That's almost like that's almost like one of like your Panama experience.
Right.
It just
Yes.
didn't
Yes.
it just didn't exactly turn out that way because they thought they had an easy in, and they didn't. But it's all tough about what's really happening and who has control over making decisions and gives us. So we're not really democratic. We're represented, right?
Hmm.
And so being represented means somebody chooses our representatives, and that really is the core design of our government from a long time ago, from when the Constitution was written.
Right.
And it's still working. It's still working that way. And for a lot of reasons, we need to change the Constitution. But we don't want to open that can of worms right now because you don't know what worms are going to come crawling out.
Yeah, I mean that is so true. Move to amend the organization that as a part of trying to create the 28th Amendment. There were two ways to amend the Constitution, and we were only supporting one way to amend it, and that is going through Congress and getting three. I think it's 3/5 of Cong. Is it 3/5 of Congress, or yeah, I think it's 3/5 of Congress, and also of the states, right? That's how we
Right.
wanted
Yep.
to do it. But there's another group that was the alternate to our group that wanted to use the convention, what they call a constitutional convention. And with the constitutional convention, every state opened it up to the public at large. And if you have an activated public, you could get some results that you don't quite want. There's a whole lot of stuff that we need to. I don't know if you listened to the program this morning, but there's a person that called. I think it wasn't it you, Pat? No, it wasn't Patrick. It was a conservative that called named Raymond. I think I'm going to take a cut out of that.
Yeah.
That brought up.
What they really need is to go back to, I guess it's Kansas, that if you get enough people with of uh, um, enough signatures, then you can put something on the ballot, and it becomes part of the Constitution.
Right.
So that's what we need. That's what we need across the board. I know instead of that, especially to replace the Electoral College, they've done the all the states banding together and following the popular vote,
I
which
love that.
clearly
Yeah.
clearly the Republicans would never do that because what 4 out of the last 5 elections that they've won haven't been popular vote wins, or were
Right.
really close.
The only
So
person that won the popular vote in the recent Republican was George Bush's second term.
Dwight
But
Eisenhower. Dwight
yeah.
Eisenhower.
Oh no, no, George Bush. The second time George Bush beat, who was it that he beat? The tall guy, the Navy guy. That's who George Bush beat in the second election, and there he won the popular vote by a smidgen after Ohio came in, if I
Right.
recall correctly.
Yeah.
But
So that was the point.
yeah,
So and even though they're saying all these things about the votes being equal, when you stack up the swing states, there's still Mr. Trump still has a good strong
yeah.
advantage, which
Well,
we hope will drift away.
yeah, the advantage is with, I don't know. I sent out a newsletter, and maybe I should find it, because, and this, I think everybody listening should hear this part here. Let me go and see if I can find it, because I just
Yeah.
want to read the first paragraph of that newsletter to you.
Right.
Let me pull it up in my Substack, because it's rather
Right. The one other thing that I wanted to mention while you're looking for it is,
yes,
do you remember that everybody was making fun of her going to talk to a sorority? But
yes,
that sorority group has a huge power. Remember, they were there with our Netroots Nation group.
yes,
There's a
yes,
lot of strong women. The local sorority was an Alpha Kappa Alpha, I think,
yeah,
maybe.
AKA,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, we worked with the Moms Demand Action for gun safety. We've
hmm,
worked with them, and they have us come, and I'm going to go and give a talk to them about recycling. You know, my going thing is to reuse, repurpose, or recycle, but never to tear it down or burn it. Maybe just
right.
throw it away at that point. So
See, you're always doing
if you get a
something good,
chance out
Bruce.
there,
Always
yeah,
doing something
yeah.
important. Let
Well,
me.
and my wife, you know. But
Oh,
thank you.
Susan.
And then
Susan is a
everybody watch
workhorse.
the Olympics.
Yes,
Yep,
yes. But
yep.
let me read this one.
But
I sent out a
everybody
news.
watch the Olympics
Absolutely. Hold on, Bruce. I want to read
and
a
make
paragraph.
that tie. Okay, go ahead. You got it.
All right. Kamala Harris will be president with complete grassroots support, is what I wrote in the newsletter. Then I said this. Did you know that no other presidential candidate has ever received more votes than Joe Biden? That was 81,283,501 votes. Did you know that the presidential candidate who has received the second largest number of votes in this country is actually Donald Trump? That was 74,223,975 votes. Donald
74
Trump
million.
yeah, 74,223,975 votes. Donald Trump found an additional 11,239,147 million votes between 2016 and 2020. In other words, he found a lot more people to vote for him in 2020. Donald Trump, their metrics told them they were getting those votes. So they were sure they were going to win. They did not count on Biden's team finding an additional 15,429,987 votes over what Hillary Clinton got in 16, which was 65,853,514. What I'm trying to say here is the following. There are a lot more progressives and mid-level folks than there are people on the right. And whenever you are out there doing maximization of the vote, which both parties were doing then, that was a perfect contrast in showing what showed up. There was a differential of between 7 and 8 million votes between one side and the other. What is the kicker is, even though Biden beat Trump by near 7 point something million votes, and Trump beat Hillary Hillary beat Trump by 3 million votes. Believe it or not, Hillary came closer to winning or rather, was further from winning than Biden losing. If Biden had shifted 40,000 votes in three states, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, 40,000 votes, Trump would have been president even though he lost by 7 million votes. And in the case of
So
Hillary,
the key
Trump,
here,
yes, go ahead.
the key here is that we have to get the vote out because we need that huge population of people who know the right way to vote. We need to get them out. And there's
Yes,
been a lot of effort from the other side to minimize the ease of voting. We
yes.
probably won that vote because we made it easy for them to vote. And somebody could claim that because they made it easy for them to vote after the pandemic, that we pulled a fast one on them. It wasn't fast. We understood that we need to get people out to vote. And in fact, I was on a recent discussion Zoom with the Democratic group, and they said the number one thing that we need to do is we need to phone bank. Phone banking is the most effective way.
Hmm.
So if anybody wants to help, they need to. It's easy to volunteer to phone bank. You can do it from home. It's basically free. You just need a phone, and just to make those calls over and over until you get somebody to talk to. So instead of them having to listen to the Medicare Advantage foolishness from some phone call from some other country, it would be good if people would hear from you in other ways that will give us a chance to have this huge number to get on out and vote. And it's less than 100 days, by the way, because it's 100 days until the voting day, but it's not 100 days until early voting starts.
I think
So we got to
early
get out
voting
there and
start
we
in
got to
under
get the vote.
60. Yeah, early voting starts in under 60 days. So we have to
Yeah. So that's
mobilize and mobilize and mobilize. And it's important for folks to understand that this election is in fact existential. And put it this way, like I called up one of the board members today to discuss some important issues on Pacifica Network, and they're like, "How comes you didn't go see Kamala Harris yesterday?" And I'm like, "I would have gone to see her, but I have too much damn work to do to prepare for this election where all of us have to be participating. In the case of what I got to do, I got to make sure all my channels are wide open and just keep pumping them with information, right? I mean, she told when I called and I told her that, she said, "Well, I don't feel too bad. I didn't go either." And I'm like, "Why?" And she said, "I had 25 calls to make." In other words, she's doing exactly what you spoke about, Bruce, which is phone banking. Folks, when I tell you that we're going to win this in a landslide, given the enthusiasm that I'm seeing, mark my word, we're talking about a landslide, but you guys are going to make it happen. All right, let's see. Thanks for the heads up for
great.
Patrick.
Yep.
Let's
Thanks up and I'm wishing good for everybody, and we all got to get in and do our part. Thanks a
thank you
lot and
very
have a
much.
good weekend.
Hey, thank you, Bruce, for calling in. And before you leave, Bruce, I want to thank you for being a great supporter of our program all of the times, both here, my local show, as well as the show at KPFT. It's people like you that make things happen, brother. All right?
Yep, yep. And sometimes y'all don't agree with me. I'm more in the middle of the road, and I
That's not
am really interested in people taking care of each other. And we have another group of things to study. I'm just learning a little bit about Hannah Arendt and
Yeah, I read it. The
her
German woman, the
philosophy.
German, yeah, yeah. I
Yep.
saw that. I
And
started to read it.
so we can. That's probably worth a coffee or two.
Absolutely. Well, Bruce, you just have to call me and say, Egberto, get your ass out of the office. We need to go get some coffee. That's all you got to do. It's not like you don't know that. But anyhow,
Yeah, yeah.
I can
Okay,
come out
great.
there with my damn computer. Anyway, we'll talk later, bro. Peace.
Okay. Live
All
long
right.
and prosper, everybody.
Absolutely. That's a Star Trekkie. I can see that. Anyway, folks, Melanie Keelan made it into the house. How you doing, Melanie? Hey guys, I got a video to show you. Guys are going to love it. And after that, I'll come back to the chat and start reading the chat again. I have all the stories to tell, but if you want to see the stories, just check out it's going to be in the newsletter and other places. So, but I much enjoy, believe it or not, with you chatting in the chat room, talking about what you're chatting about. I think you guys have a lot. Well, anyway, let's go listen to the video and I'll go back after that. Well, can you believe it? Nikki Haley rings prophetic. Nikki Haley said that the first party that puts up someone other than their octogenarian to run that party is going to win the election. Well, I tell you what, let's listen to her and then we'll take it on the other side.
With Donald Trump, Republicans have lost almost every competitive election. We lost the Senate. We lost the House. We lost the White House. We lost in 2018. We lost in 2020, and we lost in 2022. The worst kept secret in politics is how badly the Democrats want to run against Donald Trump. They know Trump is the only Republican in the country who Joe Biden can defeat. You can't fix the mess if you don't win an election.
We want to win.
A Trump nomination is a Biden win and a Kamala Harris presidency. I defeat Biden handily. With Donald Trump, you have one bout of chaos after another. This court case, that controversy, this tweet, that senior moment. You can't fix Joe Biden's chaos with Republican chaos. The other day, Donald Trump accused me of not providing security at the Capitol on January 6th. Now, I've long called for mental competency tests for politicians over the age of 75. Trump claims he'd do better than me in one of those tests. Maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. But if he thinks that, then he should have no problem standing on a debate stage with me. Most Americans do not want a rematch between Biden and Trump. The first party to retire its 80-year-old candidate is going to be the party that wins this election.
Yes. Prophetic was Nikki Haley seems to be. The reality is, one could say, she was just talking, but if we take a look at what's happening on the playing field, the political playing field right now, it actually seems like that's what we're gearing up to. We even hear that the excitement that we're seeing around Kamala Harris is Obama-esque. What does Obama-esque mean? Remember how it was when Obama was running. Remember that excitement. Remember how it felt. Somehow to some, we're starting to regenerate that feeling again, the feeling of some sort of a hope, the feeling that things can get better, the feeling that we can move forward and forget the past. And you know what? It is something that we need right now. It's something that we can finally eliminate once and for all, the clear and present danger that is former President Donald Trump and the MAGA movement. Because if the landslide occur as I'm predicting in November, it would have proven to the Republican Party that MAGA and Donald Trump are both a clear and present danger, and it'll give them the impetus to have the purge that's necessary so that America can come back again and have a conservative, viable party, one that is not based on hate and rhetoric, but one that is really based on having the discussions as far as what's best for America. Absolutely so. Absolutely so. And let me just say this. I need to make a comment. A lot of people think that she's going through a honeymoon. Kamala Harris is going through a honeymoon. Oh, it's a new thing. Everybody gets excited. We all know what's coming. So while they're preparing that negative attack, we are preparing for it. And we are preparing the parabolic mirrors to use on it. We are preparing the parabolic mirrors to work on the upcoming attack that we know are coming, because that's all they're going to be, attack without merit. So the sugar high, I'm not worried about that. But I can tell you the good thing about the attacks that are coming at Kamala, there is not, it actually will open the door for us to further define Donald Trump for the evil being that he is. So I want them to try to bring and lie about Kamala, because what she's going to do is either, and she's going to show where this guy is such a defective character, and he's going to open the door for us to use that without being petty. So I want them to attack her. I genuinely want them to come after her. I want them to come and say, you had a relationship with Willie Brown. And then she can come back and say, wait a minute, didn't you have 3 baby mamas? So that is actually kind of wrong. Didn't you have, like, while your wife was pregnant with Barrett, weren't you sleeping with prostitutes? Ah, yeah. So I want the attacks to come, because it opens the door for us to further show that Donald Trump is nothing more than a sleaze bag. I'm not talking about my Republican friends now. I'm talking about the instantiation of who Donald Trump is. Now, if he doesn't attack her, they may not be able to bring those things up and not sound like him. But my God, if he attacks, we are going to be so ready, because his history of criminality, his history of pornography, his history of all these things, grabbing women, a judge saying he's raped women, all those things, gives us a chance to highlight that, make the memes. Let's start going with it. So, yeah, Mr. Hayes, it's not a sugar high. We know the attack is coming, and we are ready for the attacks. Anyway, from Bridge MCP comes J.D. Bauman, Hamel Vance, atheist turns Catholic in 2019, marries woman following Hindu faith, raising children to worship Jesus and Hindu gods, doesn't know his own name, can't decide on a belief system, but he's supposed to know what's best for you. That's a good one. That is a good one, but it's so true. I'm going to repeat it again. It's bear repeating. J.D. Bauman, Hamel Vance, atheist turned Catholic, 2019, marries woman following Hindu faith, raising children to worship Jesus and Hindu gods, doesn't know his own name, can't decide on a belief system, but he's supposed to know what's best for you. Ha, 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 ha. Okay, I want to correct the record, because here again, when I tell you people don't think, right? I want to make sure people understand this. Eric brings it up. The reason I am addressing this is because I don't want people to get the wrong impression. Donald Trump sued ABC and George Stephanopoulos for saying that that Trump raped women, and he's suing them for that. And what Stephanopoulos and ABC wanted them to do was to throw that case out, right? They want them to throw that case outside because, hey, we know the judge already said it. And what Trump won is not that he isn't a rapist. What he won is that George Stephanopoulos and ABC must go to court and get the case resolved. The judge agrees that more than likely, because the judge said that the sexual assault that he's accused of today would be called rape. And that's what Stephanopoulos and them inferred. So Donald Trump didn't win anything. He just won. All he won was the ability to go to court with Stephanopoulos. And let me tell you, if I were Stephanopoulos and ABC, I would be glad for that. Because in court, when Stephanopoulos is defining why he called it rape, he's going to say, well, judge, if he held a woman by her crotch and pulled it, if he did X, Y, Z, it's called rape. And that's the word, that's the definition of the word that I was given. So the whole world instead of him settling the case, the whole world will get a chance to see why Stephanopoulos called him a rapist. So you misunderstood the judgment because you read Truth Social. If you read Truth Social, you should know that everything that you're reading are lies. If you listen to Fox News, you should know what you're listening to are lies. What I just told you was the actual truth. Look it up. All right. Breach has another thing here, and she says, there is a reason our icons of liberty are all women. To which I say, I agree. I would really love to see a woman ticket. I am tired of what testosterone will do. And yes, you're right, Eric. The discovery process will be great. It'll show the dysfunction, the depravity of Donald Trump for all to see. All right, let's see what else we got here. But that is in discovery. After the discovery comes, the judge would determine what can be revealed or not. So, and the judge will likely, since he's calling it rape, reveal just about everything. So, there you go. You're right about that, brother. Discovery, let's go. Sorry, posted it again. Thank you, Egberto. Oh, not a problem, girl. Like I said, you ask, we read. And yeah, women, I think it is time for women to take over. It is time for women to take over. I want you guys to take over the world, baby. I really do. And that's from the depths of my heart. Paul Fleming says Bill Barr personally helped Trump lie about the election in Pennsylvania. Former U.S. Attorney General Bill Barr personally urged a top federal prosecutor in Pennsylvania to issue a misleading public statement in 2020 presidential election that was later pounced upon by former President Donald Trump to spread false claims of vote rigging in the state. An investigation by the Justice Department watchdog agency concluded Thursday. Of course, not something we can assume all of the time. Trump is a litigious bastard. Trump has thousands of civil court cases and loves to use the court to slap his opposition. How many times Trump got laughed out of court? I've long since lost track. From 1970s until he was elected in 2016, Donald Trump and his businesses were involved in over 4,000 legal cases in the United States and federal courts, including battles with casino patrons, $1 million real estate lawsuits, personal defamation lawsuits, and over 100 business disputes. Yeah, they should charge him a premium to use the court system. They should charge him a premium to use the court system. Okay, what else have we got here that I missed? Folks, later on I'll have the blog up for the show since we're not going to get to it because Bruce came in and, Bruce came and give his time. All right, let me go ahead and continue looking. Let's see. Michael says Vice from 2022. JD Vance gets called out for fake opioid nonprofit in brutal Senate debate. Tim Rand, I didn't start a fake nonprofit pretending I was going to help people with addiction like JD Vance did. Literally started a nonprofit and didn't spend one nickel on anybody. In fact, he brought in somebody from Purdue Pharma to be the spokesperson for the nonprofit, the same drug company that had all the pill mills going. Got everybody addicted. All you did with it was launch your political career. I am not going to take a backseat to you on fentanyl or drug or anything else. I love it. And I imagine that will come out as well. That he's just a more polished Trump. That's why Trump picked him. He's just a more polished Trump, which is a good thing. We can point that out. Fox News is a cancer on American life. Shakula hairstylist, you're correct. Paul Fleming says, boom! Justice Elena Kagan has proposed Chief Justice John Roberts appoint a panel of judges to enforce Scudder's code of conduct. I like that. Let's see what else we have here that I need to read before I close the show down. I kind of enjoy. Tell me today I did mostly reading your stuff. I have material in the blog that I'm supposed to cover today. If you guys like me doing both of them, let me know. Let me know if you want me to do less of reading of the comments and answering the comments and more of the stuff that I prepare. Let me know the balance that you want. It's your show. But I really like the interaction. That's what I kind of appreciate with the morning show at KPFT. The callers calling in and getting their platform and giving them the option to talk. And I sort of have ping pong off of that. Hello, Egberto, read. You giving me something else to read? Oh my God, what are you trying to do to me, Bridge? I'm going to because I like what it says, but I'm going to read it. But you're going to have to pay me for this one. Damn, that's a lot to read. All right, I got enough time to do it. Here we go. Trump's fines and settlement over the years. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to read this for a blog. I'm going to prepare this for a blog. Thank you, Bridge. Anybody listening to this today, I want you to pass this to your MAGA friend. For those who think that Donald Trump somehow is treated badly by the courts, let's get a bit of reality here. On the screen, you see what I'm talking about. Trump's fines and settlements over the years, and all of this is verifiable. 1988, $750,000 antitrust lawsuit by Bally. 1990, $750K defamation for accurately predicting Trump Taj Mahal would fail. 1991, $200K removing black workers from casino floor. 1991, $30,000 for circumventing state regulations. 1998, 1.4 million hiring of undocumented workers. 1998, 447,000 money laundering violations. 2000, 250,000 New York State Lobby Commission. 2006, 100K Palm Beach flag ordinance. 2015, 799,000 defamation Trump University student. 2015, $10 million money laundering violations. 2016, 50K data and credit card breaches. 2016, 1.3 million FEC disclosure errors. 2017, 25 million Trump University fraud. 2019, $2 million Trump Foundation fraud. 2019, 290K Scotland wind farm. 2021, 122 million Trump campaign forced to refund to donors. 2022, 110,000 contempt of court. 2022, 750,000 funnel inaugural funds to his business. 2022, 1.6 million guilty on 17 counts of criminal tax fraud. 2023, CFO sentenced to prison. 2023, 10K for attacking court personnel. 2023, $1 million for court sanctions bogus lawsuit, including 171K to be paid to Hillary. 2023, 5 million in EJ Carroll sexual assault. 2024, 83.3 million in EJ Carroll defamation. 2024, 392K thousand, that is, court sanctions bogus lawsuit, New York Times. And 2024, $453 million business fraud. That is the person that, hey, I got me. Well, let me finish this part. That is the person the MAGA base wants to have lead this country. That is the person. If that were Obama, if that were Hillary, if that was Kamala Harris, there would be. We can't put somebody with that kind of character in the White House. A person accused of rape. A judge said it was rape. A person that grabs women by the crutch. A person that rips student off by telling them they're going to a university that's not a real university. He cheated them. It was a fraud. A person who cheated a charity and took the money. A person who collected contributions for his election and then stuffed it into his business. And you think he's going to be honest with you? And you think he can make a good president? That is what we call fraudulent thinking. Fraudulent thinking. So, folks, if that's what you're voting for, remember, you have no moral authority going forward to tell anybody that they need to be law-abiding. You have no way you can tell somebody you are the party of law and order. There's no law or order there. Bridge MCP, thank you so kindly for your super chat, my dear. beautiful lady. I do appreciate that. Anybody wants to give a super chat, feel free to do so. But I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Now, my dear Eric Hayes, that is the list of things that this guy has been convicted of. That's not to speak about the ones that he played with in the courts to get away with. And you feel it's okay for somebody like that to lead our country. In 2016, you can say, well, we didn't quite know that, even though this information was out then. But now you're coming to politics done right, and you have the information. You can look it up if you don't believe it, and you'll find it, and you still think he's worth voting for. You can never, ever again speak about bail. You can never, ever again speak about law and order. You can never, ever again speak about dignity. You can never, ever speak against anybody and women and what they do to women ever again. And I don't know how you can look into your daughter's eyes and say, daughter of mine, to the daughter that I love dearly, I am going to vote for this guy. If I were a daughter and I knew my father was voting for somebody like this, I would ask my dad, Dad, I'm pretty sure you don't love me. Or I'm pretty sure you love an ideology more than you love me. Because how can you put to lead this country a person who would do me harm? How can you have this country led by somebody who has proven he doesn't care about my body? How could you do that? How could you do that? So I'm going to ask all of my MAGA people right now. I'm going to ask all of you, because now that I'm actually articulating this, I am actually getting upset that people that I like, my MAGA folks in the room inclusive, how dare you vote for somebody like this? I am going to ask you to really check your brains, really check your heart, really check your mind. Because I tell you, brothers and sisters, that is completely and entirely shameful. Folks, please support the program. You can support the program by going to politicsdoneright.com/support, politicsdoneright.com/support. And okay, I got to answer Eric. He says, check your wallet. If you're talking about for financial reasons, that says that you would sell the soul of your kid for money. You sell the soul of your ethics for money. Man, I tell you, capitalism is worse than I thought. Anyway, folks, you can support the program by going to politicsdoneright.com/support, politicsdoneright.com/support. But I would love for you to become a subscribers of our program, subscribers of our newsletter, that is. That really helps do what we need to do. It's called, you can go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, and become a paid subscriber. That will continue to help us do what we must do. I got to get out of here. My name is Egberto Willies. Love you all. Thank you all. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. You guys know how I end this, baby. I am what? Out! We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.